Murder! Murder! Murder!
Most Foul. Welcome to Most Foul TV. This is Most Foul TV with your host, Dante Petty.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Most Foul TV. I'm your host, Dante Pena, and this is Most Foul Chief. And yes, just like the song said, shout out to Eric Bischoff and his theme music. I am back. More importantly, football's back. And more importantly than that, your Super Bowl 54 Kansas City Chiefs are back. And yes, they are better than ever. What a start to week one of the NFL season. We thought we weren't going to get here. There was speculation that we weren't going to have a season. But here we are, folks. What a freaking weekend. What a start. And we're going to get into all of it right now. As you guys can see, like I said, I am back in, Chiefs headquarters, HQ, whatever, Murder Most Foul headquarters. Most Foul TV headquarters, I guess, right? I'm back in the man cave. It's been a bit, sorry. So if you've seen the short video I did a week ago in the truck, unfortunately, I just had about a month and a half or so. I was trying to do some video stuff. Couldn't get to it. I had switched jobs. I'd switched from one company to another. And so that kind of disrupted my timeline and like my timetable of when I can do videos for you guys. On my old job, I was working day shift, and I was barely able to keep up with the schedule I had, working 70 hours a week, and then doing videos and also doing another podcast, which is the American Warrior Fest podcast. So once I switched jobs, it kind of disrupted my schedule. Now I'm on night shift. It was a fucking clusterfuck. So took me about a month to kind of get things kind of situated and acclimated, and here we are. But I definitely wanted to get this video out. I'm going to make an effort to make sure I get probably 2 videos a week out, because I want to do some pre-show videos, and then I'm definitely going to do a post-show video like this one. So we may be doing like maybe Saturdays, like Saturday nights, and then probably like a Tuesday, after Monday Night Football for the pregame, or for the postgame, sorry. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to see, I wish I could do it every day. I really do. I wish I could put out a video for you guys every day, just to keep updated as things happen in the NFL. But unfortunately, again, working 70 hours, being a truck driver, fucking, it just, that part sucks because it takes up all my time. But no worries. As you can see, we got some action in the back going on, right? If you guys saw that game. So, I mean, let's start. Let's get right into it. What a fucking game. What a weekend. Again, I mean, they're back. And what a performance from your Kansas City Chiefs, your champions, your Super Bowl champions. So let's start from the beginning. Let's get rid of the obvious, and then I'll get into the football stuff. So we saw the what everybody's talking about, the anthem stuff, and the how the message they were going to send with the protest and social justice and all that, and I thought they did a good job. It took long, but whatever, they want to make their point, and that's great. So I'm not gonna go into that. I am gonna go into the fucking idiots that booed. Okay, let me make this real clear. And again, I'm not gonna get too political on this. It's not what this show's about. And if you don't like it, fuck, I don't care. Tough shit. Don't watch. I'm not making you. But I am gonna say this. for those fans, like, I mean, now, first of all, they're reporting it wrong. I don't like how they're reporting it on some news outlets. Some of them are getting it right, like NFL Network got it right, and a couple of others. But some of the, like, kind of local news and whatever, they're trying to paint the picture that all 18,000, 15,000, or 18,000 fans that were there, that was what the amount of fans that were in the stands were. It was a small percentage. It was maybe, like they said, like 2%, 2 or 3%, which equals somewhere around 500 or 600 or 800 fans that booed during the locking of hands, which makes no fucking sense. It wasn't during any anthems. It wasn't during the what they call the Black National Anthem, but that's not what it is. There's a name for it, the something hymn, right? So, but they dub it that, and I think that's part of a whole different kind of separation of people, because they're like, oh, look, see, the black have their own national anthem, and media started calling it that years ago, right? They never came out and like, oh, this is our national anthem. It was a song for them for sure, but they never came out and said it like they wanted to replace the national anthem. So get that shit out of your head. But they weren't playing that. They weren't playing the regular like the American national anthem, you know, and so for people to boo was just fucking stupid. What are you booing for? Literally, there's two opposing teams coming together, all nationalities saying we're in this together, we're united, we want to make a stand on injustice, we want to make a stand on police brutality, on racial injustice, like whatever it is. I mean, you pick your fucking poison. For you to boo that, either one, you're just stupid and fucking ignorant, or you're racist, because apparently you don't want unity. Like, that's your only excuse, right? I don't give a shit what other fucking argument you want to come up with. Because this was not during any kind of national anthem. It was just a moment of silence. That's what they said. A moment of silence for unity is what they said. And they wanted to show that. And then you have a couple of idiots. Now, again, the reason why I'm pointing that out is because I don't want people to think that that is the majority of the Kansas City Chiefs fans. That is a small percentage, just like any other, just like the Raider fans, and we dog them all the fucking time, say they're a bunch of assholes and gang members and shit like that. And a lot of them aren't. I mean, is there a pocket of degenerates in their fan base that are like that? Sure. But not all of them are gangster criminal, you know, out to fucking start fights. That's the worst element of them. And just like their fan base, we have a worst element too. We have racists. Don't forget. And I'm not painting all of Missouri like this, but it is a red state, okay? And I'm not saying all Republicans are racist, but there is, it's more likely that there are a group of them that are Republican that are racist than there is Democrat that are racist. Now, I'm not saying Democrats aren't racist either, because they probably are. I'm sure there are. There's a lot of them that are. But you just tend to see it more in the red states. I don't know if they just find it more acceptable. I don't know if it's because it's a, you know, the last standing effort from the South and that way of thinking back in the day. I don't know, but I'm just saying you tend to see it. You tend to see it more with those states, and you know, Missouri's a red state, and so you have a pocket of people that are a bunch of fucking assholes that are racist. I mean, it is what it is. Again, and I'm not saying whether they're Republican or not. I'm just saying that they're just racist, and it has nothing to do with policy. You're just a fucking idiot, right? And unfortunately, idiots watch sports too, and we have to put up with them, right? And that's what we saw. Because again, right here, you have no excuse, okay? For you to boo that, this is all I got to say to you. And I don't give a shit. This is most foul chief, okay? There's a reason I call it that. Because I pull no punches. And I got no time for you, okay? The best quarterback in the NFL, the face of the franchise, the face of the NFL, took a stand and said, you know what? I feel strongly about this. I think we need to show the people that this isn't just about sports. This goes beyond sports. So let's take a moment to unify and show the world this is what it should be about. And for you to boo for any reason, oh, I'm impatient, I'm drunk, I'm just here for football. Motherfucker, so what? Congratulations. Get your head out of the sand, get your head out of your ass, because there's more that are happening beyond just sports. Yes, sports is a release. And I love my football. I wouldn't be doing the show if I didn't. But fact of the matter is, at some point, you need to wake the fuck up and realize that there are more important things besides just sports. And unfortunately, when it gets so bad and it bleeds into those things that you want to use to escape, you cannot ignore it. And especially when you're the players that you're watching, the players that are there putting their bodies on the line for you, for your entertainment. And they're coming out and say, look, I have a problem with this. If you guys like what I do, you guys like what well, guess what? This is an issue. This is a problem. Because when I go home, okay, I'm only playing for you for 2.5 hours, 3 hours for your entertainment. I have to be black for the rest of my life, right? And here's what happens when I go home. Nobody cares about what I did 2.5 hours for 3 hours of your entertainment. You know, when I go home, there's an issue, right? When I'm walking the streets, there's an issue. That's what they're saying. And if you're too blind to realize that, to at least hear it, to at least wake up like, oh wow, is that really what's going on in your life? Like, that's fucked up. Tell me about it. What, like, I didn't know. Like, not that I did. I'm saying if that's your standpoint, at least if you're open-minded to that kind of a thought process, you know, cool. But for you to pretend that it's not happening, for you to sit there, oh, just play football, like, fuck you. Like, I got no time for you. And if you're watching this and you don't like the way that sounds, again, don't fucking watch. I don't care. It makes no difference to me. I don't got time for people like that. I will sit and debate with anybody on legitimate issues, on real arguments about real things. I will not argue with someone who's ignorant or racist or hateful based on somebody's skin. Yeah, there's no, again, and I feel deeply about that because, again, I'm Native American and Mexican. So I have a little bit of a personal stake in that, living in a country knowing what our past is, right? So that's that. And so that's all I got to say about that with those idiots that booed. Fuck them. No one wants them. They're a small percentage of jackasses that unfortunately were there, but every fan base has them, and it is what it is, right? The Chiefs kingdom is not perfect. But the vast majority of us do not feel that way. So to paint the picture that the Chiefs kingdom booed, I hate that, like, bullshit. No, there's a lot of us that weren't. So it is what it, now you can make the argument, oh, they were booing the Houston Texans or whatever, right? But again, they fucking told you, like, you're just stupid, okay? Because then they're like a moment of silence, like they told you what it was about. It wasn't, you know. So either way, you're a bunch of idiots. All right, enough about that. Let's get on to football. What a debut. Clyde, Edwards, Helaire. Now there's three. We'll talk about three rookie players, but well, not rookie, two rookies and then one veteran that just stood out, right? But obviously Clyde, Edwards, Helaire, the Clydes. What have I been saying, guys? What was episode 1? If you're new to the channel, go to episode 1. I started this show talking about Clyde, Edwards, Helaire, telling the world what I thought he was going to do. And again, and I'm not an expert. I don't watch college or whatever. I just, after they drafted him, I knew about him during the combine. I knew about him leading up to the draft. I knew it was DeAndre Swift and him. I was not even rooting for, but I thought that they were going to draft DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift. I might be getting that name wrong. I thought that they're where they're going to go because he's the Georgia guy. You know, and we have, you know, for whatever reason, the Chiefs draft a lot of Georgia players. They like that school. Maybe they have a connection to it. Maybe they have some kind of relationship with the school. So I figured, you know, and then we have a couple of players, obviously, on the team that are from Georgia. So, you know, Georgia Bulldogs and all that. I'm looking up to see if that is his name. Yeah, DeAndre Swift. I was right. Okay, that's why I'm making sure. Yeah, I don't fuck it up here. So I just thought they were going to go that way, you know. But both phenomenal. And they went Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I was like, okay, I didn't do too much research on him. And so once they drafted him, I started looking it up, and I started realizing why. And I started looking at the college tape, going back to the highlights and some of the games, and watching how he plays. And yeah, man, that Jamal Charles, that you know, Kareem Hunt-esque style that he plays, being able to catch out of the backfield, making the first guy miss, like that's what they say. And it was great to see. And whoever it was, Troy Aikman, whoever, I forget who the announcers were, at some point in the game they talked about how in college Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the Clydes-dale, would make, you know, the first guy would never get him down. The first man that would hit him would not ever take him down. It'd always be the second, third hit, you know. And he did that all through college. You know, you can't take him down on the first hit. You better make sure you wrap him or whatever. But he never goes down that first. He's always bumping off someone. And then he showed it in his NFL debut in the NFL against NFL players, against grown men, bouncing off of them, and the first hit would not take him down. That is amazing to see in a debut in his first game. Again, I'm excited. I told you guys that when you guys see this player, everybody was shocked, the time of possession and all that. And I was just like, validation, homie. I didn't think he was going to have that big of a day. I knew they were going to use him. And the great thing about it is we didn't even see, I got to stop fucking with this, right? I do that every video. It's a habit. But it's for my performance. You know, when I was a guitar player and a musician, I always have, when I'm performing, I have my guitar in my hand. So I have something in my hand, you know? So now it's just weird. But anyway, sorry. Tangent. It was, you know, like I said, it was validated. We didn't even get to see the full spectrum of what he can do yet, which is great. I mean, again, Reed's not going to show you his whole playbook in one game, but wait till they open it up even more. Wait till he starts catching out of the backfield where he's now another receiver, you know, like Mahomes splits him out to the left or to the right, you know, or he's in motion, goes over there. You got Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and like Sammy Watkins all lined up on one side. All of a sudden, Clyde starts moving out to the other side, and then they're like, oh shit, where are we going? Where are we going? And they probably will ignore him because, like, oh, it's the running back, fuck him, he can't catch. And they're all going to pay attention to the three core over here. All of a sudden, Clyde Edwards comes around the corner. Mahomes drops a fucking laser right down the middle, and the guy runs for like 40 yards. That's going to happen. It's going to happen, right? Screenplays, again, all of that cool stuff we used to see with Jamal Charles and Kareem Hunt, those screen passes and the little dump offs, like the guy can catch, and we haven't even seen it yet. So once he adds that, once they start using that to his game, oh my God, watch out. Again, I think it was Max Keller on ESPN who said it, where he talked about the quadruplet effect that we had with Kareem Hunt when we had the best four players in the NFL as a group. When it was Mahomes, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and Kareem Hunt. Just them alone, like the four. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, how do you stop that? Who are you gonna guard? If you try to double team, you know, two players, and then you still got Sammy Watkins and Kareem Hunt, and then behind them you got DeMarcus Robinson. Behind them you got Mecole Hardman, right? Now you have Mecole Hardman. Then our other role players like Dieter, even though he's on the bench, or not on the bench, on the practice squad. There's another player, the fifth wide receiver, because he actually caught a pass in this game, and I always forget his goddamn name. Let me look it up real quick as I'm talking here. But yeah, I mean, just all the other role players, and then we haven't even got into the other running backs, you know. Darrell Williams and our other, give me a second here, the rookie from last year, whose name I always forget in these videos, and I apologize because I like him a lot. Chiefs wide receiver, let's go there first. Marcus Kemp and Byron Pringle, right? Other two more burners that are great role players. And so, I mean, just again, man, I mean, the weapons on the offense is just insane. And then you got, again, now Clyde Edwards-Helaire leading the running back group. And it's, again, you got Darrell Williams, Darwin Thompson. There we go. Like, you know, another smaller guy. But again, I think Darwin's another great, he reminds me of a Dexter McCluster type player. Like, I think he can be there. Like, he's kind of had a couple of injuries. He hasn't shown up as much. But again, with all the weapons that we have, it's like they haven't called his number as much. But I think he can develop into that kind of player because he's been on the play on a couple of key plays, like some big moments where he's been there. Like, I think, was it a fumble or interception on the special teams or whatever, and Darwin was there. So it's just, again, what are you going to do now? And so we have this amazing rookie running back, and I said it in the first video, in my very first video. I said I predicted that I think he will become the rookie of the year. He's that good, and again, he has all the elements of it. He has the skill level, but more importantly, he's been on a championship team. He was on the LSU national champion, team. So he's used to the spotlight. He's used to the big moment. So being on the Super Bowl team, being relied on to be the guy, like the running back, the number one running back, it's not new to him. It's not going to shock. He's not going to be like, oh my God, it's too big for me. And it didn't look too big for him in this game, right? He looked fucking phenomenal, and I can't wait. And we weren't even at full strength. Nicole Harmon, I mean, I think he played one snap, or they pulled him, or he didn't play. So it's going to be exciting to watch. Again, and I was close to my prediction on the score. I thought it was going to be like 40-17, somewhere around there, and it ended up being 35-20 or something like that, 34-20. So I was close. Now that score would have hit too if DeMarcus Robinson wouldn't have dropped that pass right in the end zone, right? So I was pretty goddamn close to that to my prediction on that score. But I'm excited, man. And we got the LA, like one of the fellow podcasters, fellow YouTube channel, Shaggy Shane, like he loves to say, the Los Angeles not so Superchargers, right? And it's true, because they suck. I can't believe they actually won a game. You know, who did they play? I didn't see it. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see a lot of other games, because again, with the truck driver, like I worked on Saturday. I work Saturday night, so I didn't get in, and I work night shifts, so I come in like 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, depends on when I get done. And so I kind of slept through most of the morning, and then, you know, so by the time I woke up, I kind of saw the afternoon games. So I didn't see who they played. Let's look it up real quick. But you know what, the games that I did see, and it's laughable, and it's great. It's also kind of encouraging for us, but the Bengals, yeah, they beat the Bengals. Okay, Joe Burrow suffers a loss in his I kind of wanted to see that. I wanted to kind of see Joe Burrow and see what he did. Apparently people said he did okay. Whatever, I mean, 16-13, that's not going to do much, you know, against us. And it's funny, we were watching, it was the last game, the New York and the Giants, right? And they were talking about their quarterback, fucking Danny Dimes, with his stupid ass nickname. It's funny because when I'm not doing these videos, I remember all these fucking players like a lot, and then when I'm doing this for you guys, because I do it in one shot, I don't edit, my mind kind of goes blank sometimes. But I think I'm just trying to fucking put it all in and get my thoughts together, and I get distracted. But who the fuck is New York's quarterback? There you go. Daniel Jones. There we go. Duh. See, again, like I see it and I'm like, oh yeah, fucking that guy. So Daniel Jones, they're talking about, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. That sucked. Excuse me. That's where one of the players got injured. Daniel Jones, they're talking about him and his performance that day, and they're like, oh, and they're trying to hype him up. And it was funny because they were like, you know, oh, this is going to be a great offense. They can really get going, and if they're firing on all cylinders, they're going to be, they're going to be basically dangerous. And one of the announcers, like, as they're saying that, the guy's like, and he kind of corrected what the other announcer was saying. He's like, basically told him, like, cool your fucking jets, because he's like, in so many words, he's like, yeah, he's like, oh, he's doing a great job, but this score, like 17-13 or whatever it was that they were at, they're like, yeah, but that's not going to get the job done against the Kansas City and Baltimore Ravens of the world. And it's true, because it's funny because as they were hyping that, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, seriously? Like, yeah, he's doing okay, but don't get carried away here, okay? That's a long step from being able to compete with the top. And it was good to see that one of the announcers was like, cool your jets, bro. Yeah, he's doing good, but he has a ways to go before he's even going to step into the fucking arena with those teams. So at least somebody has a bit of a sense there. So, and going and kind of touching on that though, like what I saw this weekend from games, it's hilarious, but it's also, again, I said validation earlier. Like I kind of knew, like I kind of had the feeling coming in, like there was going to be a select group of teams that were going to be ready for the season, and then the rest of the NFL was going to suffer from what's been going on, just out of circumstance. And so obviously our Kansas City Chiefs, I mean, we look phenomenal. Not only do we look phenomenal, we look more ready than any other team. Like it's hard to watch other games because they're so fucking slow and clumsy. Where when you watch a Chiefs game, it's precision, and it's just like it is. I mean, you're watching magic and you're watching perfection. Like, I mean, it's just laser focus, laser throws by Mahomes. Like it's so fast paced. And then you kind of go to another game and you're like, fuck, do something. Yeah. So, which is, I mean, again, I really don't watch other teams anyway, but I mean, you got to kind of spread the day around, right? And so that's kind of every day, but this season even more so. I think the Chiefs have the benefit of having so many starters back. Like most of the Super Bowl team is back, so there wasn't a lot of new players to get used to learn the system and all that. Like everybody who's there for the most part knows what's going on. They know the system. And then you see other teams that are having like new quarterbacks, new coaches, new offensive coordinators, new players. They got to get acclimated. They didn't have OTAs. They didn't have training camp, right? The Chiefs didn't have that either, but we were more prepared for it because we have a team that was pretty much the same team. And then the training staff, the coaches and all that. I mean, shout out to Brett Veach and Andy Reid and all the, like, again, I think Brett Veach, the general manager, is the unsung hero in all of this because he did a hell of a job locking up Mahomes, locking up Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, Tyreek Hill. I mean, found a way where prior to the season, the new season, everybody was saying it. Oh, they're not going to be able to keep all these pieces and blah, blah, blah. You know, what are they going to do next year when they pay Mahomes? And fuck you, right? Hey, we figured it out. You know, that's what you get for doubting the general manager who had a plan. He had a plan the whole time. He knew he drafted Mahomes years ago. He knew it was coming up. You think they didn't plan for that? He's not a dumbass, right? There's a reason they picked him and shipped off John Dorsey. Okay, there was a reason for that. So here we go. We got a solid team for the next 5 to 6 years. Andy Reid's locked in. So, I mean, shout out to Brett Veach, man. MVP right there. Like that. If they handed out MVPs for general managers, he definitely should win it. Because he did a hell of a job in this offseason securing our team. And then you got to see it. You got to see just a touch of it, of that perfection. That team went in there and it seemed like they were in mid-season form. And they even said it on the broadcast. Like, they're playing like it's the middle of the season and the Texans seem like they're in preseason mode. And I think you're gonna see that. You're gonna see that throughout the games. Most of the teams are gonna have that unfortunate problem. They're just not ready because of the reality of not having OTAs and a training camp and all that, and the Chiefs are just going to roll over them. Now, you got other teams that are a little more prepared. The Baltimore Ravens have a similar situation like we do. The Saints have a similar situation like we do. I believe the San Francisco 49ers have a similar situation like we do. So they're a little more prepared. But what I saw yesterday was just, on Thursday, this past weekend, it was just, it's laughable. I mean, again, I'm sticking to my guns, so I'm saying we're at this point, and again, this is on a day where Mahomes only threw for 233 yards and 3 touchdowns. Only, right? A what they would call a bad performance from Mahomes. And they absolutely decimated the Houston Texans, a playoff team. Now, granted, it's their own fault because their idiot general manager / head coach, whatever, Bill O'Brien, decided they were better off without DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, bro. Good luck with that. So I feel bad for Deshaun Watson. Because I like him. I think he's a great player. I think he's a great quarterback. He's like Mahomes. He's well spoken. It's hard to hate on him. He's just a good kid. So it sucks. He's on a shitty team. He's on a bad situation. So maybe hopefully they'll fire Bill O'Brien. And then they'll get somebody in there that can actually help his ass. But we'll see. And then who cares? Because it's not my team. So tough luck for Deshaun Watson. But, again, it's like watching other teams in slow motion. Watching the Chiefs and then watching everybody else. I'm telling you, they're not ready. And moving to the disrespect of our team. And I heard it all throughout the week. There's a couple of people that still have that'll say the Ravens, like the Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl. Ravens are going, and they might go, or well, I guess no, because they're AFC, right? So they got to get through us. Like they're automatically giving them the Super Bowl, like, oh, they're going to be, and some people got them going undefeated. How the fuck do you figure? How do you figure they haven't beat us in 3 seasons or 2 seasons every time they play Mahomes, at least I guess over the last 2 seasons. Lamar Jackson has not beaten Mahomes, okay? So if you can't get past the fucking Chiefs, how are you having a undefeated season when you got to get past us? How are you going to the Super Bowl when you can't get past us, right? So, and this is against a team, you couldn't beat us 2 years ago, we had the 31st ranked defense. You couldn't beat us last year when we were rebuilding our defense and still figuring it out, and went from 26th to 13th ranked defense, and then by the end of the season, from week 11 to the Super Bowl, we were the best defense in the league. You couldn't beat us, okay, during that span. What are you going to do this season now that the team understands and knows where they're at, knows what they are? That defense knows their identity. Most of them are back. They're going to be better. We got even better players, and I'll get to Snead in a second here. Got young rookies and all that. The defense got better. They were already progressed. They went from 26 to 13. So we're like 13 ranked defense overall towards the end of the season, right? Now they've had a whole offseason. They understand the program. They want a Super Bowl. And you're automatically going to bypass the Chiefs. Oh, yeah, the Ravens are going to win, or undefeated, and they're going to go to win the Super Bowl. How the fuck do you figure? You could not beat us while we were still figuring it out. Now we got it figured out. We won the Super Bowl. We put it all together at the right time, and here we are. And you think they're going to bypass the fucking Chiefs. Good luck with that, bro. There's a reason why, Byron Pringle, there's a reason why I said we're going to go undefeated. Because I saw what Brett Veach was putting together. The pieces we had coming back, the pieces he added, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Willie Snead, right? The addition to him, what's his name? Juan Thornhill's coming back, who was having a hell of a rookie season last year, and then we lost him late in the season, right? And he's coming back, so that defense is going to be even stronger. And not only that, and it also the main reason why I believe that we will go undefeated and repeat and get that second Super Bowl and become that team again. It's Mahomes. The guy is chasing like history is what he's doing. He's chasing legacy. And I've said this before. He has a mindset, similar to Jordan, but not as like cutthroat, but silently. Like it's like a silent assassin. I mean, he'll smiles at everybody. He's real, nice and has manners and all that, and a real nice guy. But on that field and in his mind, he knows what he wants, and he's like he wants to be the best. And Andy Reid has said this before. He's chasing that. He's chasing legacy and history. He wants to go down as the absolute best of all time. How do you do that? Obviously, you got to get more, in some people's eyes, you got to get more than Brady, right? More wins. And I think that's possible. I definitely think that's possible with Mahomes. They say Brady did it with supposedly no weapons. Fuck you. You had Gronk. You had Aaron Hernandez for a couple of years. You had two great tight ends, and then you had Gronk, one of the best ever for a long time. So you always had that cushion. Danny Amendola, Wes Walker, the guy that's still there who's all old and broken. Fucking, y'all know who I'm talking about, his main guy, whatever, right? And then he had Randy Moss for a while. So don't sit there and tell me that he didn't have weapons. He did, okay? He just, that'd be like, a couple of years ago, nobody thought Kareem Hunt, Kareem Hunt, nobody thought of him as a great running back. All of a sudden, he takes the league by storm. He's on our team, and he wins the rushing title. Nobody gave a shit about Tyreek Hill. Nobody cared. People wrote off Sammy Watkins, okay? So now all of a sudden, oh my God, they're like, the Chiefs have the best weapons in the league. And yes, we do, but that's not by accident. That's not because we went out and got the marquee players. Guess what? We built them, okay? Brett Veach scouted these players, knew what they were, saw the potential of these guys, what nobody else did, went out and got them, put them in our program, put them with Andy Reid, and now they are some of the best at their positions in the NFL. But coming out of the draft, the hype, no one cared about the players that we have. So don't sit there and fucking tell me that the Chiefs just went out and got like the best players ever. We built this team. That's the difference, okay? So I find it laughable that people say that dumb shit when it comes to the Chiefs and when it comes to Julian Edelman. That's what I was thinking about. When it comes to like Brady and Indiana. Hey, fuck you. He had weapons, okay? He had plenty of weapons. And then if that was the case, what was your excuse last year? He didn't have weapons, but he couldn't get it done. So which is it? Oh, he didn't have weapons. He had no. Well, that's his thing, right? He had no weapons, and he still makes it. So he either has weapons or he didn't. Pick one. You can't be both. Okay. You want to know somebody didn't have weapons and makes the best out of it? Again, look at Mahomes. Okay, look at his Texas Tech tape. Okay, he had no one on that team and still put up fucking hell of numbers. They just couldn't get it. His defense was shit. His offensive line was shit. Right. He had a couple of okay wide receivers. But, and I've said that in other videos. So now again, I mean, you want a real good example, look at his debut. Albert Wilson, and I did a video on that. He made Albert Wilson look like a damn superstar. And that guy got paid over in Miami because of it. A year later, Miami scoops him up. It's like, oh, we need that guy. And because Mahomes made him look like a superstar. So if Brady can do it, quote unquote, without weapons, then if we lose pieces, for sure, I believe that Mahomes can do that same exact thing. And whether, you know, if Tyreek Hill moves on or Kelsey will retire, obviously, before Mahomes is done. We'll lose Kelsey. You know, Sammy Watkins will at some point move on because he's been playing for quite a bit. So again, do I believe that Mahomes can do it with other weapons? Absolutely. So, you know, he's chasing that. So yeah, he has to get more than Brady. And then already, like, the records he's broken, and his Lakers focus, like, he knows what he wants to do. He knows that he's chasing that, and he's thinking to himself, how would I do that? Okay, I need an undefeated season. Okay, let's go get that. I need an undefeated season and another title, back to back. That hasn't been done since the Patriots in 2005 or whatever the fuck it was. Okay, let's go do that, right? There's never been a three-peat, right? So we'll talk about that after this year, right? So again, Mahomes, I said it, I mean, years ago, when he was a starter, when he was in his starting year, that he was a generational talent. I told that to friends and people laughed at me. They were like, oh, relax, man. Come on, he's not. I'm like, you're watching a generational talent. A once in a generation, hell, maybe even once in a lifetime of this kind of skill. Like, people don't do what Mahomes does. I don't care. Like, Lamar Jackson is great, and I give him all the props in the world. But you got players like him already. Again, Kyler Murray. They're talking about him, right? Like, they're pretty much the same kind of quarterback, only one smaller. But they're the same mobile kind of guy. And Kyler Murray, I think, I'll give Lamar Jackson some credit. I think he throws a lot better than Kyler Murray does. And that's just from the outside in. Again, I haven't watched them a lot. I've watched the Ravens more than I've watched the Cardinals and Kyler Murray. But that's just from the outside in. Like, look at my perception, right? I could be wrong. But again, like, so to me, like, who's doing the same thing that Mahomes is doing? Who's stepping back like a 10-yard drop back and then throwing it off his back foot and still launching it 30 yards in the air accurately to his number one wide receiver? Who's doing that? Nobody. Okay, throwing no-look passes and throwing with his left hand, and who's doing? No one. Okay, running opposite direction on one side of the field and then throwing it across his body, still launching it 30 yards accurately. No one's doing that. I'm sorry. There's not a player, there's not a quarterback like him. So to try to dub Lamar Jackson automatically above him or the Ravens, to me, it's fucking laughable. You guys got a mulligan last year. The fact that he was injured, okay? If Mahomes didn't get injured and was hobbled pretty much for 10 weeks, he only missed 2 games, but he was not 100% for about 10 weeks. It took him to heal and be normal, be 100% Mahomes. And then you saw what happened. The season took off from week 11 or 12 or whatever it was. We never lost, went to the Super Bowl and won. That's what you saw. So, I mean, I give Lamar Jackson all the credit in the world, but if Mahomes wasn't injured, he'd be a double MVP like 2 years in a row. You fucking know it. So, and he's probably going to win the MVP this season. Everybody hasn't even talked about it yet, but he's going to win it. Like, he's going to show you why he is who he is. And if you don't believe me, again, compare their MVP seasons. Lamar Jackson had 36 yards and 4,000 touchdowns or whatever. Mahomes 50 and 5,000, right? So who's better? Like, and you haven't beaten Mahomes. So so let's again, and so that's kind of my irritation with some of the fucking talking points that they've said, where they just bypass the Chiefs like we didn't win the fucking Super Bowl. But whatever. So let's talk about the interception. Let's talk about the defense and Willie Snead, right? A simile. That's what I want to talk about. I kind of went bypass that. We're talking about Clyde Helaire, but a unsung hero, and I think I'm pronouncing his name. I hope I'm pronouncing it wrong. He's the left guard for the Chiefs. He's the guy that replaced Laurent Duvernay-Tardif for our Kansas City Chiefs, and he's done one hell of a job. Dang it! See, they still have him listed. Replacement. Let me see. Freaking let me just go to the damn depth chart. He's the guy that replaced the doctor, right? And did a hell of a job. The reason why Clyde Edwards-Helaire had such a dominant game was a lot due to that guy, man. I mean, he was taking on double teams and he has a huge wingspan. Like he was phenomenal. And they actually pointed it out in the game. Like one of the announcers was like actually gave him credit and talked about Assembly, I think is his name. And I believe he came from a different team. Like we got him out of a different team. Give me a second here. Calexico Osemele. Yeah. I hope I'm saying that right. Calexico Osemele. Right. I know it was Osemele. I know that was his last name. I'll get it right at some point. I got to hear people say it. But yeah, hell of a fucking job. Hell of a job. Great pickup. Yeah, we got him from, I think, the Jets. Right? Yeah, veteran. Yeah, reach a deal with veteran Calexico Osemele. Let's see. We stole him from the New York Jets. Yep, 2-time Pro Bowler. He was also with the Raiders. He was named first team All-Pro. Hey, man, he looked it, man. He did a hell of a job. What a pickup. I remember when they got him, I was like, all right, who's this guy? He's a fucking Jet. He's a Raider. I didn't care. But, hey, again, man, trust in Brett Veach. He knows where the talent is. So, awesome for him. Like, he's a great pickup. Talk about, I was worried that, when we lost Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, like, fuck, that's kind of a hit, but what a pickup. What a pickup. So shout out. Like if I was going to give a game ball, I would give 3 game balls out for that game. Obviously we'd go to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, definitely to Osemele, and to the rookie that I was just talking about, the other fucking guy on defense. I tell you, my mind fucking goes, man. My mind goes. 1 second here. Jeez, depth chart. Where is his punk ass? The guy who caught the goddamn interception. Fuck off, no. Sorry. Willie, was it Willie Gay? No, Snead, sorry. There, L'Jarius Snead, right? So yeah, shout out to him too. Like I'd give the game ball to him. We'll talk about Willie Gay too in a second. But yeah, L'Jarius Snead, right? Now granted, it was a pretty easy pick. I mean, it was a give me, but that was created by the Honey Badger, understanding Deshaun Watson, knowing his tendencies and just attacking, and then Snead being in the right place. Though again, like if he did the normal rookie thing and was kind of out of place and not knowing his assignment and all that, he wouldn't have caught that. He wouldn't have been there. It would have hit the ground and it would have been an incomplete pass. But he knew his assignment. He knew where he was. And the play happened exactly the way it should have. And he was in the perfect position, took advantage of it. Great fucking job, right? Willie Gay Jr. I'm excited about. People have compared him. We haven't seen it yet, but I think he'll make an impact. But people have compared him to Derek Johnson, right? They've said he's like a younger, or like a new version, a young Derek Johnson and all that. So that's pretty awesome to hear. We'll see how because we've definitely needed that middle of the field kind of locked up and those short distances, right? Because a lot of times when you watch our games, where do you see teams kind of beat us a little bit is right in those short middle routes, those slant routes to the middle to their tight end or to their wide receiver, because we were weak there. Now, if they go beyond that or Honey Badger comes up, he can take care of it. But usually they got Honey Badger up in the back, the safety position. Sometimes he'll come in or be cornered, but they don't have another guy that can lock that place in. So then the Honey Badger can just stay in the back in the secondary and help out the corners. Now we do. Now we do. So Willie Gates, I'm excited to see what he can do. And if he does live up to that kind of hype, to that Derek Johnson type of player, man, again, that defense is going to be fucking phenomenal. It already is. They gave up some yards, but then they held the points. And then I don't care that what are you eating? My dog's eating something. Stop eating paper, fuckface. They gave up a couple of scores, and I love that Honey Badger was pissed about it, but it's garbage time points. Nobody gives a shit about garbage time points. I'd rather give up garbage time points than have our players play like 110% the whole time just to keep, out of pride, to keep the score low, to say like, oh, see, look, we held them to 3 points, but then you risk injury because you're going that hard when there's no need to. No, man, we got a lot of season left. I don't give a shit. If we know we got the game in the bag, hey, put in the second and third stringers, and let the guys rest and kind of take your foot off the gas a bit so you don't get injured, because we're going to need you guys healthy later on. So I don't have a problem with that. I really don't. They did their job, and it was great to see. I'm gonna end here. This will be I gotta get ready to get to work. I just wanted to throw this video out, and so we're gonna get ready to get out of here. But I want to say something. So I think we got some new people. I made an appearance on my sister's Instagram live show a couple of days ago. And so there were some people there, and there was a lady, one of her friends that's from Australia. So anybody who's watching that's not from the States, and I never realized that before, because for the most part, when I talk about our Chiefs, I just kind of assume that, everybody knows football. So if you're new to the sport and you're new to fans, so I guess we'll talk a little bit about football, the American football, how it works. She was asking questions like, what's a draft, and do you have to buy merch to be a fan? And absolutely not. So first of all, and I'm sorry I forget her. If you're watching, I forget your name off the top of my head at the moment. But if you're watching, welcome. Thanks you for, welcome to the show. For everybody else also, please like, subscribe, comment. I always forget to say that shit, but please like, subscribe, comment. It helps me on YouTube. It helps the video to get out to more people, and we can grow the channel bigger and better. Also, by the end of this week, hopefully by this weekend, the end of this coming next weekend, I am going to be on, right now a couple of episodes are on Spotify and iTunes and Google Podcasts and all that. By the end of this weekend, I should have every episode on all these streaming services. This will now be not just a YouTube channel, but it will also be a audio podcast, so you guys can listen to it on Spotify on the go and iTunes and all that stuff. And so I'll have that done by this week, by the end of this coming weekend, and everything should be up. All 6-7 episodes will be up, and every episode after that will be on available through stream like that. So if you want to listen to this in your car, it'll be available for that too. So, and I got to get used to that when I'm describing things for fans that are just listening. I'll try to be a little more descriptive in those moments if we're doing video or stuff like that. So this episode we didn't have to do that, but so going back to a shout out to the Australian lady. Again, if you're watching, thanks for watching, thanks for joining. And just to answer a couple of questions. So American football, like what are the rules? What's a draft? All that kind of stuff. I guess to address kind of, we talked a little bit about what she had asked before, like as far as being a fan, you don't need, we're fanatics, man. Like we're like a lot of the Chiefs Kingdom, we're crazy about our football. Most Americans are. And we love wearing our jerseys on game day. We love, having our flags and our banners and our hats. And I'm wearing my championship hat. But you don't have to, right? You don't have to buy anything. You just watch the games and root for the team. It totally, a fan is not, there's no parameters for being a fan. You just enjoy the team. And she was like, what team should I root? She's like, can I root for yeah. She's like, can I root for the Chiefs? Of course you can. Like, why? And like asking how people become fans. And it's like, there's various reasons. Some people are born into it because you're from that city, or your dad liked a certain team. That was kind of it for us. Like our parents liked the 49ers. They liked Joe Montana. So they were watching Joe Montana. I walked in one day and saw him playing, came down from, the team came back from like a 28-3 deficit or whatever crazy shit it was. One of the typical Joe, comeback kid type of games, and I saw that at 8 years old and was just blown away by it. I was like, oh my God, who is this guy? Like, this is amazing. Became a Joe Montana fan. They traded Joe Montana to the Chiefs, and I went with him to the Chiefs. So, but give a little quick overview for those who are non-football fans or non-NFL fans and want an idea of it. So, yeah, I mean, American football, you got, I don't know I don't know how many guys are on the goddamn field. I should know it, right? They say it all the time. But you got two teams from different cities. They line up like that, like the picture we see in the back where you got like 7 guys on a line together or 4, you got like, you'll usually have 4 guys in the middle and then a couple of wide receivers. The wide receivers are the guys that catch the ball. The 4 or 5 guys in the middle are the guys that are blocking and pretty much making a wall for the quarterback. And the quarterback is the guy that throws the ball to his receivers, to his catchers, or sometimes hands it to the player next to him, who they call a running back, who will run the ball. And that's who we were talking about today, is Clyde Helaire, the running back, number 25 that you see on the screen for those of you who are watching. And that's, football now. How you become a fan, again, there's various, you just root for a team. A lot of people became Chiefs fans because they saw Patrick Mahomes, our quarterback, the guy throwing the ball, number 15, saw what he did over the last couple of seasons. This guy does amazing. He can throw 40, 50 yards down the field, which is a lot, which is long. The no-look passes, all these crazy stuff that he does. And so people saw him playing, were amazed by it, and all of a sudden became Chiefs fans. And then it just so happened that we were so good, we won the Super Bowl. Our Super Bowl is our championship game. So, again, there's no parameters, there's no rules on how you become a fan. You can watch a team, you just enjoy them, you just root for them, and if there's a connection, I think for most fans, for most people, it's just that there's a connection, and in some shape or form, whether it's family, whether again you're born into it because you're from that city, or you just fall in love with the player. You see the way they play and the way they conduct themselves, like, man, I like that guy, I want to root for him, he's awesome. It doesn't matter, it is what it is. So you can be a fan of any team for any reason. And you don't have to buy merch. You don't have to do shit. You just watch the game and root for them. That's a fan. It is, but we love to support our teams, and we love to like show like the colors and cheer and go to the games, and it's fun. So that's just kind of a quick rundown. Oh, sorry. I guess we'll talk about the draft. So the draft is, again, college is a like a farm league, is a building block for the NFL, for the pros, where all these young players that are coming into that are playing football in college, like they're playing college ball for years, and then they're prepping them. These schools, these bigger schools that have really, really good programs, good football programs, they're kind of preparing them for the NFL. They're showing them, okay, these are the plays they're going to do, and it's like a showcase. And then so once they become juniors and seniors in college, they can declare for the NFL draft the following year. So obviously, if you're a senior, you can declare for the draft and say, hey, I'm graduating this year, I'm available to be drafted. And just because you declare doesn't mean that they're going to draft you. You're just saying you're available. And now if you're one of the top players in college and in the country, then yeah, the teams are going to know who you are. They're going to target you. And then if you're a junior, same thing. Like juniors, you don't have to wait till you're a senior in college as a football player. You can be a junior and then say, you know what, I'm not going to go play my last year in college. I'm gonna declare for the NFL. And a lot of players do that because they might have a phenomenal year. They might, like, let's say there's a quarterback who's having a killer year in college. He's the best quarterback in football in college in the country. And he says, screw it, I'm not gonna chance coming back next year and getting injured and looking and kind of decreasing my status. I'm gonna declare for the NFL right now as a junior. So I'm at my peak right now and I look my best, and an NFL team will take me, and all of a sudden I'm getting money and I'm a pro, and my family's taken care of. And that's why a lot of guys do it. A lot of guys opt out and become NFL players as a junior. So so that's what the draft is. The draft is all of those college players coming out in their final years or whatever, and declaring to become a professional, saying, I am here, I can be drafted by your team, I'm ready to go. It's like 3 days long in the NFL. Now it's a big thing. Now, before, nobody really gave a shit about it. Now everybody wants it. It's like a big old spectacle, like everything else in the NFL. And every team, has a pick they get to choose. We have 32 teams, and there's 7 rounds. So 32 teams get to choose basically 7 players, 7 times. Now that changes because teams will trade. Let's say there's a player on one team that's really good that another team wants. That's a current player, like he's already a pro. Like, hey, we want him. We want your wide receiver. We'll give you 2 of our draft picks. So now they get that receiver they want, and the other team has more picks that they can pick from the college guys. So it's all crazy. Like, you'd have to see it. You have to watch a draft. They have them on YouTube, just to get an idea of it. But that's what it is. In a nutshell, it's a lottery. Here's all the young college players coming out. We have 32 teams. You guys get to pick 7. Each team gets to pick 7 times. So one team picks, then the next team picks, and the next team picks. You got to wait till all 32 teams pick. That's the first round. That's the first turn. Okay, round 2. Let's all pick again, and that's why it's 3 days long. It's a process. So, but it's fun. It's fun, and for us as fans, we get to look at the young guys coming up. We get to look at some of the young prospects, as they call them, and see like, oh man, if that guy comes on our team, he's going to be awesome, right? And that's kind of what we got to see this year for us. I was looking at these running backs coming out, these really badass running backs. That guy right there, and we got one of them. The Chiefs went out and got one, so it was awesome. So that's it for me, guys. I'm going to wrap up here. Like I said, I got to get to work. But I believe I should put out an episode. I'll probably put it out on Saturday. And it'll be the pre-show, and we'll talk about everything that's going to happen for Sunday's game against the Los Angeles Chargers. That sucks because I really wanted to go to that game, but obviously due to the situations, we're not going to be able to go. So hopefully next year I'll definitely see my Chiefs here in LA. But beyond that, man, I am out of here. I will see you guys on Saturday. Go Chiefs. We're going to whoop some ass. I am Dante Pan. This is Most Foul Chief. I'm out. Laters.